Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are welcoming you to our discussion today. And it has been time that we have really been looking forward to it. It's happening, it's here. And we want to invite you to share widely this debate and the link to your friends and family. We are in a political season right now, and a lot of things are happening. People are discussing, and we have so many information that is coming from all over. But today we are taking this time, as we have always been having this forum, to debate on thematic areas and issues that are taking place in our country. We want to take this time to inform, inspire, and engage all of us. Kindly keep your comments coming to us. Any questions that you want us to ask our panelists as we engage for the next 1 hour. And with us today, I have Wekesa, who will be coming in to debate on the side of ODM. And then we have Ndeto, Honorable Ndeto, who will be coming to debate on the side of UDA. Welcome, everyone. And for now, just take us straight on. I want to invite Ndeto to give us an opening.
Okay, thank you so much, Zemba. It is really a privilege to have such an opportunity in Mozambique TV. So let me take this opportunity to greet all our supporters, all our followers. I come from Kinangop constituency, so I greet all the people from Kinangop who are watching this show. As well, I greet all Kenyans, and I believe it will be a healthy discussion. This is where I am anticipating to educate a lot of Kenyans on what is happening. And I believe that we young leaders, we are the next generation as well. We are people who are really depended upon so that to take this country to another level. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ndeto, for that opener. I want to welcome Wekesa to give us his opening remark. Wekesa?
Yeah, good evening, viewers. My name is Wekesa Eric, as you have heard. I come from Bungoma County. I reside in Machakos County. I am an ODM member, and I just want to say my relationship with ODM doesn't begin today. It begins way back from the days of NAC, and as we formed the second, the group that brought the second liberation. And so I have come a long way with that, and I've stuck with that decision. And today I feel I'm privileged to speak on that, on today's agenda, defending my party. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wekesa and Ndeto, for that opener. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are moving towards the election nearing period, we have had several things having been said. And one of the things that has been said a lot is that we are going to have a two-horse race, and that is ODM and UDA. And today, of course, as you've heard, we have these two gentlemen who are going to try and enlighten us on what is it that these two parties stand for. And so for that person who wants to learn, who wants to get something that will help you make informed decision come next year, kindly stay locked, invite your friends, let us interrogate what these two parties stand for. And hopefully at the end of this particular interview and debate, we will leave this place more informed than we have been before. Kindly keep your comments coming. Let's ask them the questions. We'll be reading them as we go by. So, straight up, I want to ask Ndeto. I'll start with you. Kindly on the what happens in most situations of an election is we look at the ruling government that is there right now. We see its areas of success and its areas of failure. And then from there, we now use that to plan for the next election. Now, Jubilee government has been in power from 2013 up to right now. Kindly, what in your view, in your opinion, is the scorecard for Jubilee?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. I will begin by really applauding the good work we have seen in the Jubilee government that is formed between Uhuru Kenyatta as the president and William Samoei Ruto as the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. In 2013, they had manifestos and they campaigned until they were elected. And the journey started when these two young men started even implementing on some of the areas they had promised Kenyans. One, we have seen the success when it comes to the national grid, that is electrification. By 2017, the electrification all around, including rural and urban, it was at 40% from 29% when these two great leaders came to started maybe with the government. On number two, we have also seen the issue to do with construction of the infrastructural part. They have really tried, and one of the areas is on the roads. We have also seen the SGR construction within the first term and the second term of this government. As well, when you compare the cost of doing business in Kenya in the previous government and the current government, you will understand that there are instances where there are free licensing, especially for young people who are starting businesses. As well, we have seen maybe the government giving some companies tax holidays. So in a way, it is trying to bring the environment, the business environment to be so favorable. And those are key achievements. As well, in 2011, when Wetangula was the Minister of Foreign Trade Affairs, he tried to push in a certain policy about open government partnership. This is where the government partners with international governments so that to ensure ease of doing.
I think we lost Ndeto as he sorts his line. Kindly, Wekesa, take us through what, in your view, is the scorecard for Jubilee government.
Sorry. May I continue?
Oh, you're back.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we had lost you in a minute.
Okay, sorry for that. So I was talking about the open government partnership, but it was really faced with a lot of challenges because these people tried to submit the action points or action plan 2 times and they failed. It came to succeed in 2016. So, and there I see a very big opportunity with this kind of government partnership. This is because, we have very many graduates, for instance, and we are asking where these people can be employed. I think one of the areas the government have an opportunity, although I've not seen it happening, is through this kind of policy. Because they can sign agreements, then they can be supplying labor force, maybe to those nations in need, so that to ensure that all these things are met. So those are the key achievements, I would say. As well, in education sector, we have seen that transition of the 844 to the CBC, which I believe it will come with a lot of advantages, especially in the issue of the skills, skills impartation to young people and also to our children. So let me finish at that point.
Thank you, Ndeto. Wekesa, what's the scorecard for the Jubilee government, in your opinion?
Thank you for the privilege to share information based on that question. I want to say that 3 minutes to talk about maybe the achievement of Jubilee may not be enough. But however, I'm just giving a scorecard generally. So I will put it in 3 perspectives. One is in leadership, and 2 is in vision or manifesto, and then 3 is in inspiration of the nation. So one, on leadership, Jubilee has, I will not give it a credit as such. They have failed to give Kenya a direction when the constitution clearly gave us a demarcation of the role of the president and the deputy president, and generally the other leadership portfolios. We have seen that in terms of leadership guiding this nation, they failed terribly. The first term, they did very well. They worked together. We could see them coming out wearing the same shirts, and they worked in unison. They were brothers, actually. But even in the first term, they didn't really accommodate the opposition and help them to and give them room to deliver on their mandate. Yeah. But in the second term, now things became worse. The president went on his own, and the deputy went on his own. That was the born of Tanga Tanga movement. So in terms of leadership, they have failed this nation. And they need to look that will be in the historical books of this nation, that Jubilee didn't guide us in the right direction. They took too much time bickering and testing each other's strength in this part of its second term. In terms of vision and manifesto for this country, yes, they came and pledged to us they are a digital government. They are going to ensure everything is digital, including giving us our kids laptops. But they did not manage that, although inside of infrastructure, they have managed to move. In the first term, they moved around 3,000 roads, and then second term 5,000. Okay, it's cumulatively around 9,000 kilometers they have done, although deputy keeps on saying it's 10,000. I don't know whether he rounds off, but it's okay. Yeah, so that is in terms of infrastructure. Have they really inspired this nation? In terms of the population, you see, you can put good infrastructure and guide the nation to the right direction. But as long as there is not trickle down incentive for the local Mwananchi, and that's what maybe have overseen the uprising and the rebellion of the common Mwananchi, that maybe in the bigger picture, they forgot to anger the small details that perhaps could have helped to mitigate the day-to-day life of the common Mwananchi. But instead of now putting their efforts together and ensuring that Mwananchi is in tandem to what they plan to do, one of the partners took advantage and now started inspiring the common Mwananchi towards himself and not towards the government policy of the day. Yeah, so I will give it an average. There are things they have achieved, like that infrastructure. There are also misses they have done in terms of leadership and inspiring the nation. Maybe the other part I will do it maybe in a different question in terms of corruption, if the time allows us. Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you for that response, and thank you for the opener. Either way, now whichever the scorecard is for Jubilee, come next year we are going to a poll, and one of the things that is provided for in the 2010 Constitution is leadership and integrity, and we want to ask that question in view of our leaders, the top leaders that we are having, and for this case we are having UDA and ODM. And we want to start with UDA in terms of leadership and integrity. And Deto, your candidate has been mentioned in quite a number of issues in terms of leadership and integrity. One of it is just what Wekesa said, that he's been talking about some projects that have not necessarily been done. And it has been suggested that that is part of what has caused a clean up money within the Jubilee indication. Why do you think your candidate needs to be trusted in view of the many things that have happened and the questions around his candidature in terms of with the understanding of the chapter 6 of the Constitution? Leto, go ahead.
Thank you. This William Samoei Ruto is not new in the political space. And this is a man who have been a member of Jubilee Party. And due to one reason or another, in the previous past, like in the second term of their governance, there seems to be a disagreement between President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy, William Samoei Ruto. And the question on leadership and integrity, I know it is wide. And I've seen some people taking advantage just because maybe the president is not giving the deputy president some tasks, because he is the one who is supposed to assign him with some duties. But we have not seen this happening since 2019. I believe Deputy President William Ruto is as clean as snow when it comes to maybe placing a chance to become the next president of this nation. Reason being, you know, if we say that the reason why the leaders will be elected come 2022 is because they do not have issues to do with criminality or issues to do with corruption, then no one will pass that kind of a simple test. So what I mean is this: we have various agencies in this government, including the legislature, there is the executive, and there is the judiciary. The executive has a mandate. If someone is suspected of any malicious act that may demean the economy of this nation or that may bring turmoil to the population of Kenya, the executive has the right agencies like the DCI, like the police force, like all those kind of the tools of maintaining law and order. And these are the people who will arrest those who have been maybe suspected for something. Then they are taken to the relevant bodies where they are engaged to maybe the judiciary, and in a way they are tried. Then after that, it's either they are convicted or they are rendered free. To my leader of UDA, that is United Democratic Alliance, William Samoei Ruto. I've been hearing people all over the streets calling him a thief. But, you know, we live in a very democratic nation. I've not seen once this man being detained. And, you know, like in the previous past, we have seen those leaders who have been known to support Jubilee. When they defect and get into UDA, in a way, the next Friday, they are detained. Then they spend in the weekend in the detention. Then on Monday they are released. And when you like foresee to see whether these cases will keep advancing, in a way it's like a personal punishment just because you came out from here to UDA. So I think when it comes to integrity, the person who has the big role to lead by example is our president.
Sorry, viewers. I think his network has is fluctuating. So you're back. Okay, make your point then.
Yes.
In 1 minute.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So I was saying that when it comes to integrity, like Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta promised the nation that they will have auditing on when someone was elected, there is a certain amount of wealth that this person owned. And to date, you will find the wealth has accumulated. To some, it is at a supersonic speed that they have grown their wealth. They have grown their wealth. So we need to understand, did this even happen? Was the president audited? Was the deputy president audited? I only saw an audit through the Interior Cabinet Secretary the other day when he was summoned to meet the committee of the parliamentarian to explain why he reduced the number of security guards to William Samoei Ruto. That's the only time I saw someone being audited. Like they could tell us that this is what William Samoei Ruto owned. And from that, I did not see anything that was said that William Samoei Ruto owned through bribery. The rest about other things like Weston, it's something that has been outspoken all over. But, you know, this is a man who has sold a land on a willing buyer, willing seller, but maybe they did not do the right check in the registry of the land. And in the process, the land had issues to the person who had sold for him. So, and that way, you cannot say that the owner of the land, that owner of the land is corrupt just because the land has issues. I think the person who was previously the owner of the land should be the one now to explain what are these issues that we hear about. So in terms of chapter 6, I believe that one William Samoei Ruto qualifies to be the next president of this nation.
Thank you. Of course, there are questions that will get time to ask each other now. To Wekesa, on the issue of leadership and integrity, those who are opposing one Raila Amolo Odinga have suggested that he's not succeeded in offering leadership in some situations, including one that has come across many of the time is that he seems not to be one who is keen on respecting people's choices, especially when people are elected. He tends to want to come and interfere within the government, by the government of the day. Those who oppose him have suggested also that he's been mentioned, for example, in the molasses case issue that he facilitated. What happened, the fall of it. What would you like to comment on the leadership and integrity on the part of one Raila Amolo Odinga?
Thank you so much for Deba for that question. I think it's unfortunate if we have to begin from a defensive side. We have to, when we talk about integrity, first of all, integrity is wholeness. It's being the whole you. It's not being you, a different you daytime and a different you nighttime, a different you in the rally and a different you in a studio. It is being the whole you. What you say, you mean what you say, and you say what you mean. You preach water and drink water. You don't preach water and drink wine. I have. I want to begin by this. Okay. There are two statements that sums up my leader and some of his close opponents. And when Raila Odinga was asked on the issue of corruption, he said, according to him, the first step in fixing the economy of our country is to end the rampant corruption in government. So he recognizes that corruption is an ill, and it has been one of the factors that has brought us to where we are. On the contrary, there's some of his close challenges. I say that I don't believe that corruption can prevent a leader from implementing a development agenda. So that this puts him way ahead. He acknowledges there is corruption, and he knows for us to move forward, we need to have the willpower, and we need to take the bull by its horns and talk about corruption and act towards eliminating it. Has Raila been mentioned in corruption? They keep on talking about molasses issue. They keep talking about the maize scandal. And we know very well that if you ask if any of those cases are in court, and Raila being part of the people who need to clear their names on that, it's not. Just because it happened in a ministry that was under his allocation, people overplayed the script just to because his opponents used the generality model to say that, and I see even that is what my friend was trying to say. Nobody can stand out to be mentioned that is not corrupt, but that is not the good mantra in terms of fighting corruption. We must begin by the willpower. It may be around us, even in our bedroom, but we must, even when a robber comes into your bedroom, you should not be seen flossing with him. You should be seen in arms attacking the robber, because he endangers your life and he endangers the people around you and the property you have. So he has been consistent. Yes, issues have been mentioned, but he has remained on the forefront. even that is one of the things that took him in government. He said that we have been shouting about corruption outside, and you see we are a minority, and even anything we bring in parliament is not happening. So for him, he changed strategy and said, let's join them and let's get people from within. Not the whole Jubilee believes that corruption should be entertained. There are those who don't like it. So if they get a force that unites with them to fight corruption, then they will get empowered. And I can tell you this for free. Since Raila Odinga joined government, Uhuru was emboldened to speak about corruption and seem to act towards it. And a few people have been victims of that. Some governors who were in bed with corruption, some of them were shown the door. Don't mind about the politics around it, but I don't think any innocent person was taken and accused of corruption and they lost their seat or their position. Anybody who lost their position, there were more than enough. In fact, there are issues they are still fighting with. So the corruption, even the threshold met the dismissal. So I will say that he has been consistent, and even when he was indicating, he hasn't fully now declared he is going to be the presidential candidate. But in his indication that if he runs, one of the policies is that I will jail the people who are corrupt. And most Kenyans say it like, you can't say that, you will lose votes. Then the question is, are we just about getting votes and positions and removing one government in power and putting another one, and avoiding to talk about ills of the country because we are fighting for survival? No. Even if it has to cost us an election, we must speak about corruption, we must fight corruption, and we shall not entertain it.
Thank you so much, Wekesa. Back to Neto on terms of projections and promises. Now, we are judged on our promises on the basis of how we have kept our previous promises. So if you have made any promise and promises that you're giving to people, your obligation to keep them comes first. Now, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, whom you support, has been known to have made promises and some projections to the people. The same people that a while back he stood in the podium and promised so many promises that some have not been met to date. Without getting into the excuse of I've not been given work, I'm not this. What would you say? How do you want us to judge him in the basis of the promises? Number one, he's saying that is more concerned about Boda Boda and Mama Mboga. We have not seen him in any podium endorsing any Mama Mboga for any seat. You have not seen him anywhere taking a photo welcoming any Mama Mboga to UDA. We have instead seen him still canoodling with the same people who have been up there, the likes of the governor from Kirinyaga. You know, they are the ones who are being given cups after joining UDA, but he has not taken any photo with anyone. Secondly, I want you to comment on the promises and projections. He's sitting in a public podium right now, and he's being paid for it, with the taxes being paid by the same people, but he suggests that he's not been working for the last 3 years. So don't you find that as a contradiction? The promise that you're giving that I'm going to fight for you, yet right now I'm working, I'm being paid for not working. What should you give us? Should he be trusted on the promises that he's giving?
Okay, that's quite a very wide question, but I will answer it this way. On promises and projections, you know, in every project or in everything that we commit ourselves to, everyone has plans, and of course you must also project. But there are very many factors that will affect the outcome. To some extent, you may find you have maybe promised a lot of things, you achieve a lot of things. Sometimes you promise small, you achieve high, and vice versa. So in this case, William Samoei Ruto, through his rallies since 2013, when they started with the president, Kenyatta, these are two people who have been promising Kenyans a lot. And to some extent, they have achieved what is humanly possible. For instance, like the electrification, you see, achieving to, when they were coming into the power in 2013, they had promised to like connect as many people as possible with the national grid. And we see by then only 2 million households were connected. But to date, basing on the KNBS statistics, we are at 10 million. To me, that is a promise which has been well achieved. Because you wonder, since 1963, if only 2 million were done. As well, there are very many things to do with sorry. I am saying that as well, there are very many promises around the economic warehouse, where we have seen these two talking about making Kenya a good habitation for business. And for sure, we have seen a lot of economic processing zones. Look at projects like Konza City. Look at projects like the Lampset. Look at the project like the SGR. Those are areas where very many people can work and be able to get their living. As well, since 2018, the duo, in a way, they disagreed. And we have seen a deputy president coming out and now campaigning what he is planning to do when it comes to 2022. Is it something we can rely upon? To me, the bottom-up model, economic model, is something realistic, is something that can be done. This is the reason. Kenya, we have been dwelling so much on the infrastructural part. And right now, most of the areas are well connected to roads, although we have not achieved to the maximum. Meaning, what is remaining to the 50 million Kenya population is now a person who can be able to network and bring in investors, empower people, especially the majority who are at the bottom. These are people we are calling Mama Boga. And I have seen William Samoei Ruto explaining so well how this model will work out even to Mama Boga. Because if we concentrate on the bottom economy, the bottom population, these people who are the majority, like the current number that is contributing to the national revenue, for instance, if it is something to do with 5 million, if we can have a leader who will triple the fold, we get like 15 million people who are in their small businesses and such. The very same way, we are going to increase the revenue of this nation. And this way, we shall be able to rely within ourselves, no borrowing. There will be very little borrowing from abroad. Look at what Kibaki did. When he came, the government of Moi was borrowing from out, but Kibaki was able to manage the economy within our borders, and this reduced international borrowing, of which it enriched the local banking, and even people were able to think about microcredit issues and circles. So, and this was for the benefit of those people who can take small loans with little or low interest. So, if we have a president who have the same mindset, I think with the achievement of Jubilee government, like good roads, those economic processing zones, the security part we have seen improving every day, I think we can even reach to a 24-hour economy. And also, even you will find even educating our young people and becoming so easy. And where people are educated, there are a lot of ideas. And this way, we shall be able to have to move even from a developing to a developed nation, because Kenya is one of the best economies in Africa. So, and if we are able also like to extend this to our neighbors, like Uganda, like Tanzania, even Somalia, even Sudan, then we shall have achieved a lot, for majority of our young people will be employed. Then, this having said that, and given some areas of promises and even projections, I believe there were things that were promised by the Jubilee government, like the stadia, the 11 stadiums, which were 5 to be constructed and others to be renovated. But we cannot fail to recognize that in 2017, the election was repeated. And during the repeat election, 13 billion was used. And this amount of money, if it was pumped to this kind of a project, I'm very sure it could have done to a great extent. As well, we have also seen the Jubilee government trying, especially during the COVID-19 period.
Thank you. Thank you, Neto. We will have further time to explore that. Wekesa, I want you to come in. It is suggested that the promise that Raila Amolo Odinga made about 6K was a knee-jerk reaction to the campaign by UDA that they are going to be empowering Mama Mboga. So he came up with the promise of the 6,000. So how genuine and how practical is the promise in the basis that it hadn't been thought after before? I mean, it was a thought after, it was not thought before the UDA one came. So I want to comment on that and also speak into the realization and the achievability of the other promises that have been given by ODM.
Sorry, I was on mute. First of all, I want to say that for promises to be achieved, we don't just look at the promises, we also look at the promiser. They normally say that in a covenant or an agreement, there is the person and then there is the token. Yeah. So the person here is one Raila Odinga. So the question that has been circulating in social media that is asking Kenyans to have a reflection is, whom do you trust? So before even we make promises, in other words, but this is what I want to say. All of us can be here we three, then a lady passes around, and then Themba, you say, I love you. Neto says, I love you. and I say I love you. Yes, we can say the same words, but she will receive it differently. The way she will receive that word, I love you, is based on trust. There are people who can tell you, I love you, and it doesn't mean anything to you. And there are people who say, I love you, and you grasp it with some emotions and passion. I want to give one more example, then I just shortly talk about what we are saying. Somebody said that two people were given an opportunity to read the book of Psalms 23. I'm using the book because some of us will love quoting scriptures, even in our campaigns. So one person read Psalms 23, and people were dry and looking at it. And another person stood and read Psalms 23, the same scripture, but people, as the environment changed and some people were weeping. And they were asked, how comes you two read the same scripture, scriptural, same chapter, but one moved the mass into tears and another one left the crowd dry? And because the answer was that one was just reading the words, but the other one understands the meaning of the word. So he brought it out with empathy and yes, that emotional appeal, because he connects with the scripture. He understands under which context Psalms 23 was written. So this is my point. There are people, when they make promise, you connect with them. They have a track record. There are those who will say, I have a track record, but you struggle to see it. Raila Odinga has been fighting for liberation for this country, and he was consistent about it, and we caught the fruits of what he fought for. We are enjoying it. Part of it is the democracy and the freedom we are enjoying, even the freedom to abuse him. We got from him and the rest of the group that we are with. Raila Odinga, when they came in power 2002, they promised free education, and that team delivered. They told us about CDF, and they ensured it happened. When he was given the Ministry of Roads, within 3 months, the buildings were down and the roads were being constructed. So we call him Enigma because of his character. He doesn't just speak about things to entice us. He actually demonstrates them. And he has demonstrated leadership through his life, and he lives his character intertwined with his promises. When he has been in government of Jubilee, his focus was on corruption, and we have seen what they have done. So the reason that, in fact, because corruption has become a campaign tool for 2022, simply because there was a fight against corruption and there was a reaction over the same. So when he promised us to change the constitution, NAC actually promised us to change the constitution in 100 days, but it was not possible. But however, they championed in 3 years. So that is 2005. They did the constitution, although it was rejected. He didn't give up. They followed up on 2010 until we achieved. They have come up with BBI to get some economical changes and balances, like 1 man, 1 shilling, to balance the equation. Though the court stopped it, but he hasn't given up, because he sees that this thing is important for have a society that is fair. So he says they will follow it up until the Kenyans get what they want. So he is one guy who pursues. On the other hand, there are guys who promised us laptops. They forgot about it. They are not pursuing it. They forgot about it. They have come up with another promise. So in fact, today's not standard Taifa Leo headline was coming up with a comical headline that Ruto ahidi kenye Uhuruto walishindwa kutimiza. So we cannot keep on promising people and changing the semantics. When we say that bottom up is realistic, in a smart objective, we have only picked one thing. The question is bottom up. Is bottom up specific? No. Is bottom up measurable? No. Is bottom up time bound? No. The 6,000 Kenya shillings that Raila Odinga promised, he actually told us where he's going to get the 6,000. He said, I'm going to have the 25% budget cuts. And then I'm identifying the 2 million families with 4 members each. It's around 8 million people will benefit from that fund. So he did not say that, okay, when we get in power, it's in our in a blanket statement. He went to the specifics. When you ask our friends whether they understand what bottom up is all about and the specifics, they don't have. So are we able, now when it fails, we cannot account, we cannot bring them to account for what they said, because they haven't given us the specifics that we can follow up and say that this one you said you deliver. But they are talking on it in general terms. So that's where the problem is. And also this idea of promising and then changing the promises in between, it breaks that cycle of trust in our psychic. Yeah, so that's what I would say in terms of promises. It is easier to promise, yes, but
Thank you.
You need to show a track record of delivery.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Wekesa. Now I will want to allow both of you I will want to open the floor now, both of you, to either seek for enlightenment of what someone has said or rebut something that someone has said in the next few minutes. So we'll go with you first, Ndeto, if you want to seek clarification or ask Wekesa a question.
Okay, thank you so much. And before I proceed, you know, UDA is the youngest party in the town or in the village. And I believe people are continuing to, like, the popularity is growing. And we are not just asking for followers. We are asking people to support us so that we make our point. I have listened to my contender. This is Wekesa. And I think to some extent, you know, he is talking of bottom up, meaning even himself, he understands that in Kenya, what we need is a model that will take our country to the next level. My question is this. You know, Wekesa, you are really supporting one Honorable Raila Odinga. This is a man who has ever been in opposition. Look, in 1982, this is a man who opposed and he was even detained for reasons that all of us know. Look at 2007, even after purporting to have said Kibaki Tosha, you see, it's like he said Kibaki Tosha because he had some expectation to be endorsed in 2007. 2013 opposition. But whenever he comes like in terms with the incumbent government, the handshake always like benefit him as an individual, because where are the people who are close with him? Where are his supporters? I once visited Busia, and still there are Mande houses are you telling me that these are not taxpayers? Muddy houses, they are foregone by time. So why do you think that this man will be something more different if he becomes the next president of the Republic of Kenya? It's like, don't you think he will be like so much on a revenge of those who have not been allowing him to get there? Or what do you think? What kind of economy is Raila Odinga? Like, what will he bring so different in this nation if he were to be given a chance?
If Raila Odinga is given a chance, he has categorically said that I want to begin by increasing opportunity. And how do I increase opportunity is buy Kenya, build Kenya. So we want the made in Kenya products. If we do that, if we can create more manufacturing industry, then we increase opportunities for people to be empowered economically and have employment opportunities. Did Raila betray Kenya when he participated in 1982? No, I think that was the politics of the moment, and as liberators of the country, they saw that it was the right thing to do. However, even if you look through history, the government has not found any evidence to prosecute them. Did Raila do anything wrong by saying Kibaki Tosha? No, he did the right thing because in that moment, Kenyans were hungry for change, and if they will allow selfish appetites, people could not have made a decision. Just as we are seeing our friends, maybe in Oka, they have been together for quite a long period. Maybe they need someone who has that foresight to say Kalonzo Tosha, Mudavadi Tosha, so that they can move forward. The guys are going. There was an opportunity in Israelite nation where they went around the same mountain for 40 years. So sometimes leadership is being pragmatic, being yes, having that pragmatic leadership where when you find people cannot decide, you help them to decide. So he broke the stalemate because after he said Kibaki Tosha, everybody was excited by the decision. Why? A leader also needs to have a good judgment. You need to look at the situation and give a solution that everybody else agrees with. Was there any fallout after he said Kibaki Tosha? No, because it was the best decision. Just as there was a time when Marende made a decision and we called it Solomonic wisdom. So when you make a decision and everybody rallies behind, then you have the grace of Solomonic wisdom, and we thank God for that he did it at that time. Concerning maybe the poor and the muddy houses, I don't think there's any, without any good government policies, we can. That's why the Jubilee came up with a Big Four, and one of the major thing in the Big Four was about improved housing, affordable housing. So that can only be a major government policy that seeks to do to transform the face of our nation. It cannot be at the MP level. An MP cannot transform a constituency with the CDF fund in terms of the people. The CDF fund is limited to what it does in a constituency. But at the national level, we can transform housing based on the broad spectrum policies like affordable housing. That part of it was being done in Kibera, and we have seen there are faces that look nice because the national government looked into that. So he's seeking for that platform so that there can be that affordable housing and there can be transformation of lives across the nation, not just a few maybe who comes from his constituency.
Thank you so much, Wekesa, and thank you, Ndeto, for that question. Wekesa, you go next. You want to rebut or you want to ask Ndeto a question?
Okay, yeah, I want you to ask Ndeto this. Why does your political side of the wing is always in appeal to sympathy? Like you approach politics from a weaker point of view, like you are victims. You want people to sympathize with you. You appear to be the ones the government is against. You appear to be the ones people are uniting against. You appear to be the ones people are fighting corruption against. Why do you approach politics in that platform?
Okay, thank you, Wekesa, for your question. One, I will tell you that in 2013, there is a promise that the duo assured the people that we will vote for Uhuru in 10 years and William Samoei Ruto in for 10 years. The tenor for President Uhuru is diminishing and we are coming to an end. We will phase out next year. Then we are left wondering, will the 10 years of the deputy president come to materialize? And the answer is, it will. You know, in politics, there are a lot of strategies. And sometimes when you see maybe the majority of the people, they belong to a certain demographic, you know, you have to keep doing your research well to see if people remember what was promised. And, you know, sometimes it is the opposition side that misunderstands our way of politicking, because you will find in some instances, these are the same people
He has some network hiccups.
Yeah, I think he has some network fluctuations. So
Maybe you can check on
but
the
ladies and
comment
gentlemen,
section.
yeah, ladies and gentlemen, okay, you can.
Okay. Thank you, Demba. Let me conclude. I was saying that the opposition side are the same people who take us to this kind of direction, and they think we are seeking for sympathy, which it is not. These are the people you will not fail to hear them talking about thief, as if our judicial system is dead, as if we do not have the law and order, those people who maintain law and order. I have not seen anything done very bad to people in through the UDA kind of the affiliation. We have been seeing DP Ruto supporting the law in the community. These are the Mama Boga and the Boda Boda circles. We have seen him also giving a word of advice or comforting them when necessary. So we are not under anyone's sympathy. We are just selling our policies and our manifestos that we will use come 2022.
Neto, thanks so much for that question. Though I don't know if Wekesa has been answered. His question was coming from the. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Wekesa.
Yeah, my comment is on his Yangu Kumi and Yake Kumi. I want to say this. I think the reason why you guys have not had confidence to ask for Yenu Kumi is because you did not allow the other person to finish his 10. When I say mine 10, then yours 10, then you have to allow me to run 10 and ask for your 10. But if I run 5 and you begin your next 10 years, so you lack the audacity and the moral authority to ask for 10. You may show this sympathy to the voters to vote for you because you are betrayed, but in the real sense, you guys betrayed the deal.
Go ahead, Ndeto.
Okay. You know, Wekesa, we should not go into corners here. This is the reason. Do you know why President, in a way, came to disagree with his deputy in 2018? You know, people have been giving a lot of stories, but that same time is when the BBI staff came. That's the same time when Uhuru had handshake with the opposition leader. And objectively, BBI was meant to create positions to maybe to accommodate more leaders at the top. And these people, they spent a lot of the public coffers
Ndeto.
and a lot of resources
Ndeto.
for the same. Yes.
Ndeto. I would want to
Yes.
keep listening to you, but I would like us to separate facts from fiction.
That is it.
Yeah, it is not right when you suggest that, and it has been peddled a lot, when you suggest that BBI was meant to give position to certain people, because you and I know that constitutions are not made for individuals by individuals in mind. When the constitution or even when BBI if whichever changes and amendments are made to a constitution, is not made with anyone in mind. It doesn't come with anyone's name. I want to take you back to Constitution 2010. When the 2010 Constitution was coming in, the Deputy President, William Samoei Ruto, was against it. He led the no campaign. Now, when it came into promulgation, it was promulgated and it became the Constitution of Kenya. The first part of it was there was a president and a deputy. Remember, we had a president and a vice president who was under the control of the president. 2010, the constitution came in and said that the deputy president will be elected together with the president. So when the constitution is coming, it doesn't come with anyone's name written on it. So when we suggest that, when you try to suggest that it has come in with the creating position for certain people, we are suggesting that actually when it is being passed, it is coming with already written names of specific individuals. I don't think that is true, and we need to run away from peddling that. That is a good campaign against the BBI, but not giving people facts out there, unless that is your intention right now, which is not our intention. We need to separate facts from fiction at this point. Go ahead.
Okay, Demba, thank you for taking time to elaborate and also to maintain us to our discussion. But the reason why I brought in the issue of that constitutional, that proposed constitutional amendment is I know it had very many things it would have achieved at the end of the day. But one of it, for sure, it could have included. Inclusivity could be a key point in that document. And you know, instead of the government paying so much attention on implementing projects, for sure, every Kenyan understands that a lot of time was invested in the BBI process, a lot of resources, and also we saw very many leaders, even leading campaigns all across the world, across the country. 'But we did not see DP, in a way, paying attention to the BBI process. We saw a lot of time, resources, and also we saw very many leaders, even leading campaigns all across the world, across the country. But we did not see DP, in a way, paying attention to the BBI process. We saw a lot of time, resources, and also we did not see DP, being so much involved in the whole process. Although, when it came to public participation, I saw him at the Bomas, and he had his views, which were at the end being included in the final document. My point is this, that, you know, if your boss, who is now in this case the president, because he was the leader of the Jubilee, he is the leader of the Jubilee party, he has all the mandate to ensure that all the manifestos they promised to Kenyans will either be prioritized, or maybe something else can be changed to cover the same. But the deputy will give suggestions. The deputy is there also to do some evaluations, and also to do a lot of things to find out if many things can work. But when it comes to delegation and also implementation, the president is very key person. And in this case, we know what happened from 2019.
I think he has gone again on the fluctuating. Kindly, viewers, you can keep your questions coming so that the panelists can also respond to them. We have Wekesa representing the ODM, and then we have Ndeto representing UDA. Keep your questions. We are going to ask them the questions so that they can respond to them as we keep listening to them. We love. We know there's some who want to come in. But this is a special, it's called, in my opinion. This will be happening every Thursday, where we have two key debaters from whichever party. If you have Oka, if you have any other party that is interested in 2022 and will be coming here to debate, only two individuals between 10 and 11. In my opinion, this is first edition, in my opinion. And those who are with us, and if you are joining us right now on the studio, is Wekesa for ODM, and we have Honorable Ndeto for UDA. Kindly keep your questions coming for this gentleman. And of course, as we are moving towards the end, you are saying something, Ndeto, before we lost you.
Yes, I think I was almost at the end, because I was saying that since 2018, something happened, and in a way, Ruto has not been fully engaged in the development agenda of the nation. But he is part of the big picture, because I've not seen anywhere he has resigned. I've not seen anywhere he has been chased. So meaning, maybe it's all about media stage managing. Maybe these people are very, very strongly held together. We never know. Maybe it is us who are blackmailed. Maybe Uhuru Kenyatta and William Samoei Ruto, they are still together. Look at what happened the other day during Masuja. They were whispering to each other, laughing like what they were doing in 2017. And we say there are no enemies in politics. So I look forward to vote for Ruto, because as a young leader also, I would like also to ensure my people are empowered through the bottom-up economic model.
Thank you so much. I want to allow Wekesa maybe to give a rebuttal before I ask us another question. Wekesa, go ahead. And
yeah, go
ahead, Wekesa.
You are saying something? Okay. Yeah, I wanted to respond on first. I want to say that my friend Ndeto, you will do justice to the viewers if you give them your political analysis of situation. You cannot come here and tell the viewers that maybe they were doing. Viewers want to see your projection, because that's why they have fronted you in front, so that you think based on the events that have happened. You can give your own analysis. It can be wrong, it can be right, but they will trust you to give an analysis rather than you just leave them with the maybe. Yeah. So away from that, I think it's very important. Even the same 2019, our debut president, had went to Chatham House. And one of the things that he said in his speech, if I can remember very well, he said that the current situation and the current constitution that we have in Kenya cannot solve the winner take it all. And he went down and broke down how can someone just have 5 million votes and after the election he goes home? I mean, there is no solution to that. So in his own strong opinion, and I invite you to go and watch his speech, he said that we need maybe to create a position of opposition leader where if you have not been allowed to form government, you can be the alternative government, and your role is anchored in the constitution and is important. So he said that will also solve the issue of elections struggles that most of the time we have had that election struggle because people invest in an election and they are just dismissed like that. So that was his strong view. When these issues began to be now structured, the handshake now structured the issues and the views that Kenyans had given. And I want to believe even those who are collecting views had him. And they thought that this is a good, if we can incorporate this agenda, already the other political side also agrees with this. But when it came to now consolidating the views of Kenyans, you guys were never categorical. You are neither yes, you are neither no. You started just flip-flopping and looking for excuses. You started even name-calling BBI, Blue Band Initiative, Beba Baba Ikulu, and you sidetracked the Kenyans from the real issues. The same Mount Kenya, you are daily getting attention and you seem to be the hero on the mountain. You forgot all the issues that are helping, that are affecting the area, including the fairness of distribution of the resources, the one man, one vote. And you forgot how to mitigate issues to do with their team. So here you are coming up with a blanket proposal that has neither the head nor the tail. If you ask Mount Kenya how will bottom up bring equalization, they will not understand. If you ask them how will bottom up help to solve issues with the tea, your milk, and whatever, they will not understand. All they have seen is a few people privileged to get handouts, and then they are told that is the bottom-up model. A sad story in our nation, Kenya.
Leto, go ahead. You have a comment?
Yes. One, I will start by, there are people who are asking why Kikuyu hate Luos, and let me make it clear. Kikuyus are good friends of Luos. We do business together, we intermarry, we go to schools together. I think this is a thing passed by time, so, and it cannot be used as a tool to like propagate anything.
Leto, I saw that question and I didn't want to ask it because I don't think it is the truth. The truth is there's generalization that Kikuyus hate Luos is something that has been pushed out there, and I didn't want to look at it and even to comment on it because it is passed by time. Not all Kikuyus. Kikuyus have married Luos and Luos have married Kikuyus. So it is a propaganda that has been created there that Kikuyus hate Luos, which is not true. So I just wanted that to leave it rest. The other questions that I'm going to ask you later, I saw that comment, but I didn't see whether it's really significant in my view. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Then to to comment on what Wekesa has just said, you know, Ekesa is also too general that, this bottom-up economic model has nothing to benefit people of Mount Kenya with. And I can tell you that is a wrong placement, because in Mount Kenya, this is where we find the backbone of the economy, farming. These are the tea producers, coffee producers, vegetables, and everything. And basing on the scenario in our country, there are counties at this moment which are undergoing hunger. Look at Northeastern. Look at some parts of the Asal or the arid and semi-arid lands. They like every time are caught up with the issue of growth. And I've seen a lot of potential when it comes to production in Mount Kenya. I think what we need is a president who understands the dynamic of every region. What can be produced where? Like in Mount Kenya, if we see people like where I come from in Kinango, if we see a leader who is prioritizing like the cold chains, where milk can be put, also the things like fresh vegetables can also be like stored in large amounts, where even something like potato, things like maybe all such kind of things. If we see where they can be, their shelf life can be prolonged, we can fight this thing we are calling hunger. We can also fight things we are calling unemployment, because I believe the people or the farmers, what they are farming through maybe the government cash transfers and such, or small loans, they will be able even to repay, because they are guaranteed that their farm produces in a way will not get to waste. So that way it will also create even the international market, because we shall be able to export some fresh vegetables in large amounts other than what is there. And this is another line that can create a lot of jobs among the traders. So for bottom up, for Mount Kenya people, we have a lot we can benefit with it. And if our production is upscaled, and also it is somehow managed in a way that nothing is getting to waste, then it is the best economic hub. I did not mean that areas like coast, also the western side, they also have very good they are also very good producers of other products, which can also be prioritized. And even our industries can be able to receive raw materials from these farmers or those producers. And in a way, we shall have the Buy Kenya, Jenga Kenya, where we are producing our own clothing, our own even these things, simple things like eggs that we import from our neighboring countries. That way we shall build our economy, and very many people will get jobs. And this way the government will be able to collect a heavy revenue, where we shall repay our loans easily, we shall be able to build our economy, and everything will come into order. So that is what I have to say for Ekesa.
Thank you, Ndeto. Now, a few things. You say that you went to Busia and you saw mud houses in Busia, and you think Raila has been there in leadership for a long time, and therefore there shouldn't be mud houses. Fact. Right now, you've also talked about several poverty in other areas that have actually been led by Kikuyu president, right? So the idea of mud houses does not necessarily mean you have the presidency. That is number one. Fact number two, yangu kumi yako kumi was not a constitutional promise. It was a campaign promise. It's just like you can wake up and tell another politician, nitakupatia kura yangu. So I don't think it's grounded on any law coming to say that is the reason why the deputy president should be voted in as the president. It is not a constitutional requirement that the president gives to the deputy. So when someone says, I gave you yangu kumi, yako kumi, it is not a law. It is a campaign promise which can be given in any platform. So I don't think that that has any basis. It is a good campaign talk, and that's why when we are coming to debate, I was more interested on coming with facts other than just coming in with those rhetorics. The other thing is connectivity that you talk about. What does it mean to connect people to electricity when they cannot afford the bill? KPLC is the highest, and right now people are suffering because of the bills that they are getting. So why talk about connectivity when the same people cannot afford to pay the bill, and the same people you're talking about that you want to empower because they have bad, the economy is low. So you see the irony when you mention that as an achievement, even in the talking. The Weston Hotel that you talked about, you kept on saying that the deputy president, the other person should have done his own due diligence, and the deputy president could not know. He has admitted in his own way. Now that's a fact. He has admitted that yes, that farm, that land was not his. They had in a negotiated agreement that he pays certain amount of money. Does it give you show you someone who is not in his position as either is always been in government? Does it strike you as funny that he could not do due diligence to a land he wanted to buy? And if such a person at his position he could not do due diligence before buying, what makes you think he needs to be trusted in the process of even other engagements? And finally, you and I know that the deputy president has said that he's concerned about Mananchi. Now, the same deputy president who is concerned about Mananchi has gone ahead to start early campaigns. So for 4 years, he's been campaigning, and he needs other 5 years. So he's been campaigning for 5 years, 4 years, or 5 years, let's say, asking for 5 years to rule you. Don't you find that is also ironical? I'll ask you to comment on that as we give you. Let me also pick other question. It seems that there are so many questions that are coming your way in data. Of course, this one, there's a question that someone is asking that they are co-presidents with Uhuru. So if Uhuru is not coming back, he shouldn't come back. That's not the law. The deputy president can always vie. The other question was someone commented and said, that is Manrich says, Ruto alikosa kumheshimu rais, ataka kama ni wewe ungekuwa rais ungedu. Okay, the question there is, would Ruto like himself as his own deputy? When you have a deputy president who cannot respect you, as you said here, they work together the first time, the second round, they have not been working together. Now, the other fact that we need to appreciate, the handshake took place at a time in Kenya. All the handshakes have happened at a time in Kenya at a point of crisis. If you go back to the handshake in 2007, 2008, it was at a point of crisis. The handshake in 2017, it was a point of crisis. So it is a little bit dishonest to suggest that the handshake was as a result of selfish interest by one Raila Amolo Odinga. So let's give facts, then leave the other things for politics. Of course, politicians will be allowed to politic and give what they think serves them best. Finally, in a particular rally, Kangata came and said that, we are the ones who fought for 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. These are things that were contained in the BBI. He's also saying that as a governor, we are going to do certain things that were actually within the BBI. The deputy president has suggested, and they are the ones who said that some of these changes can be done or made within parliament without necessarily having a referendum. The deputy president has been known to have said that he has 153 MPs on his camp. What has made him not, because they are saying that why can't we implement those things right now? What has made him not tell these people to go and make those changes in parliament right now? Why wait until after the election? So I wanted to comment on those, and then of course we'll start giving our closing remarks from the other side. And
Okay, thank you so much. I will try to be very brief on your various observations. Thank you so much also for pointing them out. One, when I said that at Busia, people are still thriving in Bande houses, I meant, and also you have brought in that in Mount Kenya, a good number of people are still wallowing in poverty. That's a fact. But also the level of poverty level, the poverty level among people is something that we should be concerned about. Having had like 3 presidents from Mount Kenya region, and yet people are still in poverty, it shows in Kenya as a whole, we are really suffering from maybe poor leadership, where there is no maximization on utilization of
we have lost him again. I think as he comes in, Wekesa, you have any comment?
Yeah, I wanted to say that my friend Deto is engaging himself into a self-defeating argument, because when he comes up with something and then he also answers himself that the same poverty we find in Busia, we find it in Central, then he should have not brought up that argument in the first place. But having said that, I think we need to be going forward, because we are in an election season, and there are many campaign promises are being made. There are many economic models are being projected. We need to analyze each and every candidate in terms of their consistency and even the team he builds, because this thing cannot be achieved on your own. Today I saw the Jubilee letter to the rebels, and they are arguing that they are comfortable that now people of the same character are now regrouping in one camp. So it will be easier for us to ask the voters to reject them in total. It's very wrong. I also say that sometimes the UDA engages in a self-defeating argument. When you say that Baba is a sanitizer, what are you telling us? That actually, if you have, it's okay. Let me give you this example. When I was young, I knew my dad as a disciplinarian. I also knew my dad as somebody who loves cleanliness. So the moment I see my dad, the first thing I ask myself, have I washed my feet? Have the kettles, have I ensured the cattle have grazed? So when someone makes you to naturally respond to sanitization or to cleanliness, then that is, they normally say actually cleanliness is next to godliness. Then that is a good person. The opposite is worse. When you are a dirtifier, when by associating with you we look dirty, we stink, we are even being targeted. So it is a good script when you say that Baba is a sanitizer, but for us it's a plus. Even Jesus himself cleansed leprosy. So we need the people who have political corruption, leprosy, if they can come to Baba and he tells them, you see what Jesus said, he did not chase away the sinners. He said to the sinners, sin no more. So when you come to handshake, what we tell you is don't continue in corruption. So for you, maybe you say we don't need to have these people. There's no way we'll expunge these people from Kenya. But we will say, if you have a case of corruption, yes, Oiguru, you can support handshake, but you will deal with your sins. And if they are pursuing you, don't expect Papa to protect you. And if you see they are continuing pursuing you and you're supporting Papa, so the only thing you can do is change the ground and call to somebody who will shout so that you can be protected. Because you have realized that these people will not shout that, hey, don't approach Waiguru. Hey, don't approach this and so. Hey, don't approach this and so. So guys, we need to be, from even the talk itself, we need to see that we are focused on fighting corruption. When it comes to economic models, let's structure them. Let Eric know that if bottom-up is implemented, this is what it is. But if it's left into blanket and general statements, I may not exactly understand what this thing is all about. And again, now, someone in the tail conclusion comes and tells us, by the way, this bottom-up is just the big four that we are trying to implement. Then the question comes, why did you run away from Big Four for the last 4 years? You could have still implemented that and then come and tell us, actually, I have done the Big Four agenda and I deserve to be elected.
Leto, you are proceeding with your thoughts?
Yes, thank you so much. Sorry for the hitch. And I was saying that, the reason why I brought in the issue of mud houses is because, sorry, Baba has been in the front line as the opposition leader throughout. During, we see this during Moi time, also some part of Kibaki government, and also some part of Uhuru government. And you see, this is a person who should oversight what the government promised, what they are doing, how money is used. So in a way, I wonder at this time that he is now in partly in the government, is it a benefit to his people? Maybe yes. And when he becomes the president, the other day I saw this person we call Junet uttering some political statements, which had started even to bring a lot of issues. So we need a president who will ensure that development is done all over, not some part of a nation. As well, you pointed about the KPLC thing. There are key shareholders in these organizations. It is also a government parastatal. And, when the economy goes down, the government has its way of getting more money. And one of it is so unfortunate. They get to electricity and petroleum products, like you saw the other day. So I think it's just to recover the big debts that they have accumulated since 2013. Also, the issue of Ruto has been campaigning for 4 years. Ruto has not been campaigning for 4 years. DP has been following projects. As a principal assistant of the government, one of his role is to follow up what the government has started and to ensure that it is rolling smoothly so that he can give a report back to the president.
Leto, the reason why I call the two of you here is so that you can help the listeners. And you are contradicting yourself. When you started, you said that it is the role and the work of the president to assign the deputy president work. And according to you, he hasn't been assigned any work in the second part from 2018 to date. Right now, you are saying he has been working. He has been supervising projects. He's not been campaigning. Now, that inconsistency, in my view, causes a lot of problems on the eyes of the listener. What is consistent? Has he been assigned work so he's doing? Now that you're saying he's been supervising projects, so he's actually been working according to you. So is it therefore true to suggest that he has not been assigned any roles by the president? And if he's doing and supervising, under whose command is he doing that? Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Themba. You know, like where the word Tagatanga emanated is it is the president himself who said that na huyu anatangatanga huku na pale. So it is a way, there is a way he wanted it to come out, but in a way, someone took an advantage of it. And he started popularizing himself. And at the moment, these people realized that Ruto is getting more popular through his ways of maneuvering to people like that in the name of maybe opening or launching projects. That's how he was curtailed. So, and since then, as you have said, if the president does not assign the deputy president some roles, you know, even yourself, you cannot, as a public servant, you cannot remain in the house. We have seen him trying to empower women. You know, like there is also an organization associated with his wife, the Joy War. This Joyful Women Organization. You know, through such an avenue, they have been able to reach out to very many women in this country. And we have also seen Deputy President going directly to like border circles, giving them even money, and also even doing a lot of projects as self-initiative. So in a way, that is also adding up to his legacy, and also it is adding up to support the Kenyan people.
Thank you, Ndeto. Wekesa wants to come in. What is it, Wekesa?
Yeah, I think let's face it, Ndeto. Under all rules of management, there's a chain of command, and there's only one commander in any chain. So when you tell us that the deputy president was taking advantage of the project of the government, where he is the deputy and there is the boss, to become popular, even at your workplace, if your boss realizes you are using your work to achieve, that is what we call conflict of interest. So in other words, you are telling us the deputy president of Kenya has no problem with conflict of interest. And actually that is where the name came, that we have a structured way of doing the projects and implementing them in stages at a specific time, so that by this time we were launching this project and our legacy will be safeguarded. But for him, he wanted shortcuts because he wanted to score he wanted to score political marks, of which he wanted to use for 2022. But he forgets that if he just supported Uhuru Kenyatta to accomplish what he's supposed to accomplish, by the way, people will look at it and they say Jubilee has achieved. They have a scorecard, and he can still use that for the next campaign season. But going against your boss's desire just because you want to get, and at the end of the day, you still want a support from him, it doesn't make sense. So are you trying to tell us that it's okay to be disrespectful to your boss? Are you trying to say that it's okay for everybody to run a government within a government? Because we cannot go and ask Jubilee scorecard based on Uhuru and Jubilee scorecard based on Ruto. No wonder he is telling us that UDA has a track record, because he doesn't want to associate the achievements to Jubilee. He wants to associate it to himself. And actually, he can boldly stand out and say that UDA has a track record, now competitors wangu hawana. You see where you see the confusion is bringing. And for me, he wants just to score political marks, but not necessarily standing out as a leader to be trusted.
And Eto, maybe as you give a final comment, when convenient, the UDA people say that we are a young party. When convenient, they say they have a track record. So if they are young, if a child is born today, how do you talk of experience? So I wanted to give that comment because in about a few minutes, we'll start giving our winding. And any question that you want to ask Wekesa, please.
Okay, thank you so much. You know, Wekesa is a smart politician, and in a way, he can smartly twist what maybe the opponent has to counter. And I did not mean that Ruto was not working. Even today, if you realize that your boss is not engaging you so much, and you feel you have more capacity to do something, sometimes if you are not chased away, you can opt to remain and also to do what you feel is right. Because at every opportunity or every job, there is a JD or job description. So, and you clearly know your roles. So whether you are assigned or you are not assigned, your mind should always keep reminding you that this is what Kenyans need. This is what you need to do to the people. And to me, that is what the deputy president has been doing. Yet he shifted from his office. He went to Karen.
Okay, so let me ask you now. Now he had to do, just before you conclude, he had to do an alternative by coming up with his own projects or implementing his own project. Now, at which budget was he using? Did he have, does he have the personal budget, or are you using the government, the one government, Jubilee government budget? No wonder we are talking about these generals is using pocket money. So do we use pocket money to do government projects? And are those government projects really?
You know, Wekesa, something, a point of clarification. The office of the deputy president is always funded. Whenever a budget is read, like the last time I checked, I think this time round the budget was reduced in every of the sectors due to COVID, and I think this office was allocated something to do with 1.8 billion there. So in a way,
operational
most of the yes, most of the activities you see the deputy president doing, he has not been using much of his money. In a way, he is also using the government resources. And that's why what he does has not been rendered illegal. That's why his boss cannot be able to counter him 100% because he knows that his office is something legal. It must be funded. And what is meant to do, he will do after all, because he is allowed by the law. So having said that, I will conclude this whole thing by saying this, that if the duo are still together, the achievement could be even more felt among Kenyans. And also this issue of suspecting someone so much to a level that maybe you dissociate yourself with this person, sometimes it does not help, because those who are really maybe carrying the whole burden, it's not the leaders, because at the end of it, they are given their share, they are given their salaries. But the taxpayers, if there is no one to think about them, yet every month every day. You have to buy something, there is VAT somewhere. Every month you have to be paid, there is pay somewhere and other deductions. So these are the people we are saying whether a certain person is maybe suspected to have conducted what or is suspected to have done something, let us find a leader who can ensure that the greatest good of our people is met. And we also have a very strong organs. Look at the judiciary. So let us not take Kenya as so down. No, we have very strong organs, pillars, which can reinforce what is missing in the executive. And we become the Kenya.
Okay, I think we have lost Ndeto again, but Ndeto has carefully avoided to respond to the question. Ndeto, you are carefully not responding to the questions, but it's okay. We want now to give our closing remarks so that we've actually taken 2 hours. I realized that 1 hour you had not even prosecuted half of what you guys had. So I think that's why we had that. Now, viewers, we have received your comments. We have seen some of the things you have given us there. Manlich, Dunia Iko, Namimba, we have seen you. Rafael Musioka, we have seen you. Ruto, Rafael Musioka said Ruto gives 1 million shillings to a whole constituency. What for? And of course, there's also in Kenya, church is a business area. Someone says that. That was someone wanted you to discuss about the issue of co-presidency. We have already discussed that a bit. The constitution is clear, and we have said basically Ruto is not barred from running. And of course, there has been argument depending with which podium you are at. Some of them say because Ruto was elected with the president, so he can't be sacked, which is true. That's a constitution. His is a constitutional mandate. So I think that is there. Thank you so much for those who joined us. Now I want to invite our panelists to give our closing remarks so that now later we open the studio to discuss whatever it is that happened today. So we'll start by Ndeto and then we come to Ekesa. Ndeto, go ahead.
Okay, Demba, thank you so much for your patience, for your good question, and also for the opportunity. And Isaac Mutua Ndeto is an aspirant come 2022. This is in Nyandarua County, Kinangop constituency. Therefore, I'm really appealing to my people to this time give a person who has an idea, a person with a vision. They entrust me with their votes so that we can be able to move our economy to the next level. I believe through reinforcement in education, reinforcement in the farming projects, reinforcement in electrification, truly reinforcement in road networks, and also creating a wide market network. I believe that is what Kinangop people need as well. Pertaining to today's discussion, you know, every day I say we learn as much as we can. And I appreciate so much people from the ODM, as I also keep also inviting more supporters to come to UDA, because it is the only party with manifesto. It is the only party that is telling Kenyans what they have on the table, something practical, something that can be done. And it is the only party that come February next year, when the parliament will break, we shall see a lot of leaders coming in large numbers so that to really support the big idea of building the economy of this nation. So thank you so much. And I appreciate for the opportunity.
Thank you, Deto. Okay, Wekesa, kindly give your closing remarks.
Yeah, I want to urge our viewers that 2022 election is coming, and it's a significant election. It will be a choice between day and night, darkness and yes, and light. It is a choice between rhetoric and practical application of what we have learned. When people tell you they have a track record, yeah, the track record cannot be far away from their character, because what we practice daily transforms into our character. Our daily habits becomes our character. So when people have no character and they tell you they have a track record, then they are telling you you are comfortable with my character and you can entrust me over your leadership. I want Kenyans to look at Raila Amolo Odinga closely. He has been consistent from the days of his youth. He has been fighting for democratic space. He has been fighting for good governance. He has been goal-oriented rather than political survival. We are tabbing this as a Baba moment because when we talk about Baba, he is actually given that name not because he is aged, but he's among the founders, the fathers of democracy in this country. He falls under the second liberation generation. So those are the fathers of democracy we are talking about. When we talk about Mandela moment, is this moment that Kenya needs to get it right. That we need to be liberated, like the same way Mandela came out of prison and gave a start to presidency and gave South Africa a right start. We want Kenya, which has been going in circles on many issues, to be anchored on the right leadership. Baba is anchoring his campaign on Azimio la Umoja, which means that this nation, despite our 42 tribes that seem not to be coherent, seem to be antagonizing each other. When you look for a job, the first name betrays you. Our conversations on social media tells us that our names betray us. But when will this moment come when we are one people, one nation? That's why Baba is singing one love song. He wants to remind us that actually we are one nation. He wants to remind us that actually it's only a difference. Our differences are tongue, is the construction of the tongue. But when I look at Ndeto, the blood that runs in his vein are not Kikuyu blood. They are just normal blood, red blood cells and white blood cells and all other cells that any other person has. The only difference I have with Ndeto, maybe it's the tongue construction where he says words that I may not hear. But when it is interpreted, you even realize that these conversations are across human race. So we have the same. When we were growing up young, there are games we used to play, but when you move from maybe Western, you go to Kikuyu land, you find the young kids are playing the same games. That means that there is a baseline on which humanity and mankind is anchored. So let's not allow this divisive politics to confuse us. Let us remain Kenyans. And it's never a weakness to unite. Don't allow people to trivialize important issues like this. Even in the good book which they read, but they skip such scriptures, the good book says that it's good when brothers dwell together in unity. That it's like oil that is poured on the head of Aaron running down his beard, and there God commands a blessing. And I know if God has to command a blessing in our electoral campaign, it is when we stand together in unity. When they stood together 2013 and buried the hatchet of Kikuyus and Kalenjins, God commanded a blessing and gave them an opportunity to lead. And we are saying also, no man is an Alpha and Omega. No man is sent as a Messiah to Kenyans. But our solutions to the challenges that Kenyans are facing is when we come together. Nobody has a monopoly of wisdom. We come together and reason together, and then we get the solutions done for this country. We cannot neglect the people who are in power. You cannot negate Uhuru. You may not have liked his leadership, yes, but he has a role. He has an experience. He has a wealth of information that can propel you to the next level. So it's good to humble yourself and learn from them. You may, when you occupy power, you may do it differently, but yet you still need to consult. Kibaki, when he took power, even when we ran a revolution campaign, after he took power, the first 2-3 months, he invited Moi just to learn a few things from him. So even when you have a crusader of change, you cannot just negate people who have been there. There are things that your father knows. There are things that your grandmother knows, whether he never reached the level of education you reached, that you don't know. And you have just to give them an ear, listen from them. They may not decide for you, but use their wisdom to make even a better decision. In a council of elders, things don't go wrong. And elders are not aged people. Elders are people who have been through an experience, who have been through the systems of governments, and they understand that here, if you don't listen to people, things will go wrong. So as Kenyans, we will not, don't let someone make you believe that he is the only reservoir of wisdom. Kindly listen to all leaders and make a judgment based on your cross view across the board, different political parties, different opinions. And people who don't like their mirror image, you should be worried about them. What do I mean? If I am the deputy and I don't like a deputy like me, then you should be worried about me. If I am the president and I don't like a president like me, you should be worried about me. Look through these issues. They are popping up even as we are campaigning. They are popping up subconsciously and consciously. We say things that we may not have intended to say, but it's God's way of communicating undertones to us that such things may, in future, make things go wrong. So be careful, do the right introspection. Otherwise, we keep the conversation going. As iron sharpens another one, so does man learn from each other. We are never enemies. We only belong to different political sides. Thank you so much for giving us your time and listening to this conversation.
Thank you so much, Wekesa, and thank you so much, viewers. Indeed, I hope you've been informed. You've learned one thing or another. As you keep saying, let's keep interrogating our leaders. Let's keep interrogating the concepts, the things that are going to come, whether it's from ODM, UDA, OKA, or whichever other faction that is going to come. Let's learn to be a citizen that is able to make informed decision. You can't be informed if you're not open to interrogating. Let's, as much as possible, educate those who are close to us. Let's do civic education. Talk to them. Separate for them facts from fiction. At the political podiums, they are likely to believe a lot of fictitious pronouncements. But when it comes to the point at which you ask them what is it that needs to be done, you need to engage your mind, engage the sixth sense in terms of getting to know what is it that the leader is telling you. Let us run away from populist pronouncements that are being done or things that are made to, to excite our emotions. They say once you engage your emotions in making a decision, you are most likely to make a wrong decision. So let's engage our mind in terms of separating facts from fiction. Today on the studio, we had Honorable Isaac Mutua Ndeto, who is an aspiring MP for Kinangop, standing in a UDA ticket, and he was engaging Wekesa. Wekesa is a staunch supporter of Baba and the ODM. And we have been able to learn from the two. Every Thursday we'll be having, in my opinion, and of course what they give here is their opinion. And next week we bring you other parties. And if you'd like to be engaged, if you would like to come and drum up support for your candidate, kindly get in touch with us. You can just inbox. We will be able to get in touch with you. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And that's all the time we had for today. Of course, they say we must keep talking. And if we stop talking, we start fighting. So we must keep engaging. And till next week on Thursday, bye-bye for now.
Thank you, Demba. Thank you, Wekesa.